So the Karate Kid
Yes, the remake with Jackie Chan.
and Jaden Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Matt Mila.
And I'm Sean Kendrick.
Kyle has the night off.
If it's alright with you, Matt, I would like to start this video off with introducing myself and saying why, because like you and Kyle both like said why people should give a damn about your opinion.
Uh-huh.
So if I can do that briefly, if you don't mind.
Do it.
All right. Like Kyle, I've been hanging out with Matt for a long time, and like Kyle said, I've learned a lot of film stuff secondhand, and I've always had an interest in storytelling, and I want to do comic books. And a lot of what I learned for comic books and what I learned for movies I can carry over. And I've also done some acting myself, so I can talk about actors and what they do. But other than that, I just enjoy movies and enjoy stories. So, and that's why I think I should be allowed to talk about movies and whatnots in these little videos.
Good reason.
Okay.
Zzz.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
So we just watched Karate Kid, which I just want to call the Kung Fu Kid.
It should be called the Kung Fu Kid, because there's only like one scene when he's like trying to learn karate from like a TV show, and he doesn't use it the rest of the movie.
They really just called it the Karate Kid, so it would bring in the audiences who knew what the original movie was, I think.
Yeah. However, there were like the plot is pretty much the same thing, only aside from karate, it's kung fu, and they did like bring a lot of the things and references to the original.
Yep. Like the scene where in the Karate Kid, there's a kind of a reoccurring thing where Mr. Miyagi's trying to get the fly with the chopsticks.
Yeah, the chopsticks. And in this movie, we see Jackie Chan doing that, but we're not entirely sure what he's doing. He's trying to catch with the chopsticks, and then wham, fly swatter gets it. So it's kind of a nice little joke and take on the original.
Yeah. But I think the thing with remakes is when you go to a remake, it's like you're watching the same movie again. Mm-hmm. I mean, almost always a remake is following the same plot points, the same important moments. They're just happening in a different way. And I kind of think this movie could have benefited from not really being related to the Karate Kid series and maybe more just being its own thing and not necessarily having to be obliged to do all the stuff they did in the original movies.
I would agree with that, but I will say it was a good, enjoyable movie. And just so listeners know, that is an extremely good compliment coming from me about an American-made martial art film. Because I am relentless with American martial art films. If you ask me for a list of good ones, it'd be a very short list.
So what would be the good ones?
Well, I think like somewhere lower on the bottom would be this one. It's pretty good, but it's not the best. And then the Kill Bill movies. And I would have to search really hard through my memory to think of anything else that would go on there. However, if we did include like web series, I would have to mention Sock Baby.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched them yet, but they've been doing something on that YouTube channel recently. It's like Bada Chijinksnya or something.
Battle Jitney or something, I think it's called. Yeah. I haven't watched too much of it, but it's pretty entertaining. It's not as good as the Sock Baby stuff.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Just a little aside there.
Yeah. Anyway, we should be talking about Karate Kid, or the Kung Fu Kid, we should be calling it anyway.
Yeah. Can we talk about the mom?
Yes, let's talk about the mom. The mom in this movie is just a monster in the beginning of the movie.
Well, I don't know if I'd call her that.
Drinking your milk?
Milk. Drink your milk, kids.
Yeah.
No,
I like how we completely gave up on this microphone cover thing that's supposed to like reduce bad noise and stuff.
We'll fix it at the break.
It'll work.
We'll fix it at the break.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the mom's kind of realistic in that she's with the coat thing when she's asking the kid to hang up the coat like 900 times and she's at her breaking point.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, was really bugging Shawn and I is just the horrible she's just horribly unorganized.
And she's completely unsympathetic for her son, who basically got uprooted from the town he was familiar with and went to a completely different country, a completely different society where he doesn't know the language or even why he should be there. They're just there because his mom got a job or something, and they never even fully explain that in the movie.
Yeah, the reason why they have to go to China is never really explained. The most we get is her saying, "There's nothing left for us in Detroit."
Yeah. About the move to China, I would like to point out that, in my opinion, in the original movie, it was just moving to. They went from Detroit to Florida or something.
They went from New Jersey to the Valley of California,
and then in that movie, the kid's supposed to be the outcast. But compare that to a kid from America moving to China, where there's, like I said, complete culture shock. Completely different language. I sympathize with the kid in this movie way more than I sympathize with the original. Because, sure, you can get picked on, but at least you're in a familiar place.
Yeah. It just seems like not enough attention was paid to that aspect of it. Either the characters or the filmmakers thought it was more or less the same thing, when it's clearly not.
Yeah. Are you referring to the original or the remake now?
The remake. Yeah, I mean, when they think that going from United States to China is the same thing as going from New Jersey to California.
Well, I felt like they did that on purpose. Obviously, it's easier to for you to for Jaden Smith to run into Jackie Chan in China and learn kung fu, because that's kind of what most Americans expect is going to happen when they go to China, I guess.
Yeah, that's a comment I had when they were going to, in the scene where they're going to, what was it called again?
Huh?
The
Wudong Mountains?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're going up all the steps, and I'm thinking, I'm going back to, 6-year-old Matt, and I'm like, every kid who sees this movie is going to think that this is what China is like all the time.
Yeah.
And that if they went to China, they would be expected to learn kung fu from Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So, but I mean, going back to the mom, on top of, expecting the son to be just completely okay with going to China.
Yeah.
She expects him to go to his first day of school the day after they get there, before either of them have a chance to adjust to the time zone, the culture, the language.
Yes. There's this completely unexpected, and he just has to go straight into it. No stop, no break. No time to adjust at all.
It's, I don't know. I don't know, what that was supposed to be. If it's just an oversight on the filmmakers, or if it was supposed to be a character thing. But either way, it just bugged me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just something they didn't really think too long about when they were making it, and when we watch it, it just makes us not like the mom for that first part of the movie.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think it was that bad of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately doesn't make the movie a bad movie or anything. But I think it kind of points out just how the filmmaking aspect was a little bit lazy, and how they were relying a little too much on the Karate Kid plot points and stuff like that, where they thought they could just kind of take that movie and adapt it here without changing it too much.
Yeah. Well, I think without changing too much, they actually made a pretty good movie, and what they did change I really liked. I remember in the original there was something about Mr. Miyagi has a classic car collection, and at some point the annoying Brooklyn kid or whatever the hell, I just remember he talked like Mr. Miyagi. I hated that kid. So anyway, I remember one point when he's talking to Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Miyagi tells him about when he lost his wife. And in this movie, we have kind of the same scene, but it ties in the car with losing his family, and it's done a lot more interestingly. You have more feeling to it in this one.
The reason why he has a old car actually ties into his backstory.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a bunch of old cars.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a break. We'll see you in part 2.